Welcome to the Google Cloud Update. Today is Friday, July 24th, 2026, and we are diving into all the exciting news and updates for the week commencing Monday, July 20th, 2026. We have an absolute jam-packed show for you today. We will start with powerful AI and analytics updates, including the rollout of Gemini 3.6 Flash and unauthenticated custom model context protocol servers on the Gemini Enterprise Agent platform. We will also cover massive analytics news with SAP Business Data Cloud integration for Cross-Cloud Lakehouse, alongside some critical security patches and deprecations for Looker. On the database and storage side, we have transparent query forwarding in AlloyDB, FireStore console rules management, and regional secret manager integration for Cloud SQL. Plus, we will walk you through major networking changes like bring your own IP for IPv6, quantum-safe security updates, a breaking change in batch, and our comprehensive weekly identity and access management roundup. There's a lot of ground to cover, so let's get right into it. Let's kick things off with the intelligence layer and analytics. In our AI updates, Gemini 3.6 Flash is officially available in the global region. If you are an administrator, you will need to head to your settings and toggle this feature on to make it available to users in the Gemini Enterprise web app and Agent Designer workflow agents. On the flip side, the older Gemini 3.5 Flash is being retired from the global region. Speaking of agents, the Gemini Enterprise Agent platform has a fantastic new feature in public preview. You can now set up unauthenticated custom model context protocol, or MCP, server data stores. If your custom MCP server does not require authentication, you can now simply choose no authentication during setup. This is a great way to quickly connect internal tools without dealing with complex credential chains. Also on the generative AI front, agent search under Generative AI App Builder has made a very welcome change. You can now decrease your storage size and queries per minute subscription thresholds for configurable pricing. Previously, you could only increase them, so this gives you a lot more budget flexibility. This feature is now generally available. For document processing, Document AI has introduced a new preview custom extractor model, pre-trained foundation model version 3.5, which is powered by Gemini 3.5 Flash. This processor brings advanced machine learning capabilities to both the US and EU regions. Now, let's bridge over to analytics, Looker, and BigQuery. We have to start with a very important security advisory for Looker. A cross-site scripting or XSS vulnerability tracked as 2026 Cape Verde Escudos 15,810 was discovered. An attacker could potentially craft a malicious URL that, if opened by an administrator, would allow them to execute arbitrary scripts and compromise the account. For Looker-hosted instances, Google has already taken care of this and patched it automatically. But if you are running self-hosted Looker instances, you need to act fast. Make sure you upgrade your self-hosted instances to Looker version 26.8.7, 26.628, 26.436, or other patched versions listed in the release notes immediately. In other Looker news, Looker reports have been officially deprecated as of July 13th, 2026. You can no longer create new reports or edit existing ones. But don't worry, your other Looker content and integrations with Looker Studio or Looker Studio Pro remain completely unaffected. If you need ad hoc querying, you can use the Self-Service Explorers feature to upload CSV, XLS, or XLSX files directly and visualize them. Moving on to BigQuery and Lakehouse for Apache Iceberg. Cross-Cloud Lakehouse now supports integration with SAP Business Data Cloud, or BDC, in preview. This brings some incredible features. You can set up Delta sharing catalogs in Lakehouse to automatically sync shares, schemas, and tables from SAP BDC. You can query those synchronized SAP tables directly from BigQuery without migrating a single byte of data. And you can publish Iceberg REST catalog tables or knowledge catalog data products directly to SAP BDC. Just a quick warning here, data products with special characters like forward slashes or hyphens are not supported and might break your sync, especially if they originate from SAP Business Warehouse or SAP's SuccessFactors. Oh, and if you are using ODBC drivers, BigQuery has an updated version of the Simba ODBC driver available for download. Let's shift our focus to databases and storage, where we have some incredible enhancements to performance and security. Let's start with AlloyDB. There is a new preview feature called Transparent Query Forwarding for clusters compatible with PostgreSQL 17 and 18. With this, the primary node in your cluster intercepts read-only queries and selectively forwards them to your read pool instances. What's amazing is that it does this while still maintaining read-your-writes consistency. This is a game changer for isolating read workloads without needing complex application logic to split database connections. For Cloud SQL users, both Cloud SQL for MySQL and Cloud SQL for PostgreSQL now support authentication via Secret Manager when executing SQL statements using the Data API. When you call the Execute SQL API, you can store your database password securely in a regional secret and simply pass the secret version resource name. No more hard-coded credentials in your application environment or custom configurations. Over in the NoSQL world, managing FireStore security rules just got a lot smoother. You can now view, manage, and deploy FireStore security rules directly in the Google Cloud Console for FireStore in native mode across both standard and enterprise editions. You can easily create new rule sets, clone them, or even restore previous versions directly from your timeline. In cloud storage, we have a very practical update for object lifecycle management. You can now set size-based conditions using size above bytes and size below bytes. This lets you define minimum and maximum size thresholds before lifecycle actions are triggered, making it much easier to automatically clean up massive log files or preserve small configuration files. And for those running batch workloads, there is a breaking change to keep in mind. Starting this week, you can no longer create a job that locates its compute engine resources outside of the job's location. However, to help you navigate resource availability, instance flexibility is now in preview. This lets you specify and rank multiple machine types for your jobs, dramatically improving your chances of securing resources, especially if you are hunting for budget-friendly spot VMs that are less likely to be preempted. Now let's talk about the backbone of your cloud: networking, infrastructure, and core security. Starting with GKE and Google Distributed Cloud. For GKE, if you use Ubuntu node images, note that starting in version 1.37, the Vulkan Tools package will no longer be pre-installed. If you run diagnostics like Vulkan Info directly on the GKE hosts, you'll need to manually install Vulkan Tools. This change doesn't impact your containerized GPU or Vulkan workloads. On the hybrid side, Google Distributed Cloud for VMware has released new software-only updates running on Kubernetes 1.35 and 1.34. These releases fix a frustrating bug where upgrading a user cluster with Anthos Network Gateway, or ANG, enabled to an advanced cluster would stall. The upgrade operator now safely preserves existing label selectors so migrations complete smoothly. For networking, we have some fantastic updates in preview for IPv6 and Bring Your Own IP, or BYOIP. You can now reserve static external IPv6 addresses from BYOIP sub-prefixes that are in external IPv6 forwarding rule mode. These can be assigned to forwarding rules for external pass-through network load balancers and external protocol forwarding. Additionally, for regional external pass-through network load balancers, you can now reserve BYOIP IPv6 addresses before creating the load balancer, ensuring the IP persists independently of the load balancer's lifecycle. We also have an update for VPC flow logs. If you use App Hub to organize your resources, VPC flow logs now include application-specific labels in their records, making traffic analysis and cost allocation much more context-aware. For Cloud Router, support for named sets in BGP route policies has officially reached general availability. If you are looking to bolster your perimeter security, Cloud Firewall has introduced the Wildfire service in preview for the enterprise tier. Wildfire integrates advanced malware sandboxing and real-time machine learning to deeply inspect network file transfers, stopping zero-day malware before it reaches your workloads. In Binary Authorization, Google is helping you prepare for the future of quantum computing. Binary Authorization now supports post-quantum cryptography, or PQC keys. Standardized algorithms like MLDSA 65, also known as dilithium 3, are now supported to help you build quantum-resistant attesters. For Service Mesh, the Envoy Lua filter is now available in preview on the stable release channel. And lastly, a quick deprecation warning for Google Security Operations. The legacy SIEM APIs, including the Backstory API and Ingestion API, are being deprecated in favor of the modern, comprehensive Chronicle API. So make sure to update your integrations. Oh, and for Cloud Tasks, the version 2 Beta 3 release introduces some great preview features. You can now set retry parameters on individual tasks to override queue-level settings, and you can create or delete tasks in batches. Finally, let's look at the massive list of Identity and Access Management, or IAM, updates that went live this week. There's a lot of housekeeping here, so let's walk through it. First, the Flow Service Agent role under roles/AI Sandbox.Service Agent has reached general availability. The Business AI Code API also saw its Service Agent and user roles reach general availability, alongside several permissions like Business AI.Locations.Fetch Quota Status, Generate Content, and Query Configuration. For AlloyDB, several knowledge catalog permissions, historically under the Dataplex namespace, such as dataplex.locations.get, dataplex.locations.list, and several dataplex.operations permissions have been removed from the AlloyDB admin and database user roles. These same Dataplex permissions were also removed from the database's admin, data scientist, and DLP, ORG, and project data profile driver roles. For backup and disaster recovery and cloud workstations, administrators can now manage Cloud KMS key handles with permissions added to roles/backupdr.admin and roles/workstations.admin for creating, getting, and listing key handles. Cloud Security Operations added several new legacy case federation and views permissions to the Chronicle editor and viewer roles. Cloud Tasks went big on the cloudtasks.operations.get permission, adding it to its admin, editor, enqueuer, and viewer roles, as well as the basic editor, owner, and viewer roles. Looker has officially GA'd permissions for creating and managing tag bindings, which are looker.instances.create tag binding and looker.instances.list effective tags. For network security, similar tag binding permissions were added for authorization policies, client TLS policies, and server TLS policies. VM migration also GA'd tag binding permissions for groups and sources. BigQuery and the BigQuery Reservation API officially GA'd several reservation group permissions, including create, delete, get, and list, while the reservation group's update permission is now supported in custom roles. Big Lake Tables register has also reached GA. Bigtable now supports materialized views permissions in custom roles, including create, delete, get, read rows, and update. Developer Connect added and supported custom role permissions for fetching user repositories and utilizing Git or HTTP proxy read and write. Secret Manager has GA'd permissions for enabling managed rotation and manually rotating secrets. And lastly, Google Cloud NetApp Volumes added support for the netapp.ontap.get permission in custom roles. And that is a wrap for this week's Google Cloud Update. From groundbreaking quantum-resistant security keys to deeper SAP database integrations and the massive rollout of Gemini 3.6 Flash, Google Cloud continues to push the boundaries of what's possible. And seriously, if you are running a self-hosted Looker instance, go apply those patches right away. Don't let the security audit catch you off guard. Thanks for tuning in. I am your host, and we will see you next week for another episode of the Google Cloud Update.